Have you ever wondered what happened to Lori, Rick's wife, Carl's mother, after her death on The Walking Dead? What happened to her body that just disappeared? Did that zombie really have the ability to devour everything with nothing left? How did this zombie do it? Why did this happen and we don't see too much of it on The Walking Dead anymore? Was it a specific type of zombie? What is the explanation? In this case, in this video, I decided to bring up this point that many people have been asking for years about this show, and if you want to know, stay here and let's go. Hello everyone who watching this beautiful channel. My name is João Victor and I'm back to talk about The Walking Dead universe again because I have a very important point to explain. Yeah, today I'm back here not to talk about the spin-offs or the web episodes, but about the main show, specifically the third season. A point that a lot of people sometimes watch it recently and don't know why it happened. So pay close attention in this video so you can understand, but of course don't forget to check the like in this video, it helps me a lot with the promotion. And also, if you like more contents like this, don't forget to subscribe here, and there we go. Yeah, let's talk about the past. Several years ago, in this case, around 10 years have passed, at the time of the prison began on The Walking Dead, the prison arc. Literally, despite some problems, it's my favorite time of The Walking Dead, especially there. The third and the fourth season in the prison. But the third one itself, when they get there, that sense of survival, of taking this place and the challenges represents a very cool business. But in the very beginning of the season, we have a big tragedy. I'm talking about the death of Lori. It's not new for the story of The Walking Dead. Like, there's difference from death. In the comics, she dies along with Judith. Here, Judith is at least born. She's still alive in the story, but the situation as Lori dies here in the show is different. And there is a different aspect that has a lot of controversy about it to this day. Yeah, let's go to the episode 4 of the third season. When the prison is being attacked, it's having problems. Zombies invaded the pavilions and other things. Lori goes into labor and she's in the hands of Carl, her own son, and Maggie, Herschel's daughter. Like, in this scene, Maggie is completely insecure about doing this, but Lori herself convinces her that she would rather die and leave her daughter alive than have the risk of both them dying. And this directs us to the birth scene. You can see it happens in this engine room, and it's very important for us to see this photo to set the scene where Lori's body was. You can see some air vents there, a metal structure here on the side, these pipes and everything. It is precisely in this place that later, Carl himself takes on the responsibility of finishing his own mother. And then there's that whole sad scene at the end of episode 4 of Rick receiving the news that Lori died, but receiving Judith there. But the issue of this video comes in the next episode, which was the episode 5. When Rick starts to suffer these traumas, he goes back there to try to recover what was left of Lori and other things to bury, to do some funeral. And also, we see that Rick in this episode is very traumatized, he's having a lot of problems in his mind, and then he comes back, finds this room, goes to the middle of the prison, he sees the details there, including the place where Lori's body was supposed to be, and in that moment, she's not there anymore. He looks there, finds some dirty from the remains that were left there, and the knife, that was used to cut Lori's belly, but the body is not there. He finds the bullet, the bullet that was used to finish Lori. He doesn't find the body, which is strange, how it disappeared like that, out of nowhere. And then when he looks to his side, he realizes. In this frame, you can see the trail there in his side, the trail where Lori's body was dragged by the zombie. When he looks to the side, he sees this trail and it ends up in a zombie, standing there, very slow, lying there without being able to even move. At the time, the first time I watched this here, I stopped and thought, oh, this is Lori's zombie. She already became this zombie like this. As a zombie, she's very different right now. What a strange face. That's what I thought. Yeah, for the first time I watched it many years ago, I thought it was Lori, but it's not. Rick goes there and he sees this zombie standing there with this swollen belly there without moving. He tries to attack Rick, but he doesn't have the strength. Rick even looks right right there and decides to finish the zombie. He puts the revolver there, and even in his mouth there are some details of hair. And even after he finishes the zombie, Rick concludes that that's right, that Laurie was devoured by the zombie. The zombie ate her entire body. That's what this scene means. So much that he takes it out, pulls the knife there, and goes to cut the zombie's belly. In the end, it turns out that he doesn't have the courage, and then those hallucination points of his start to come. The phone rings there, he starts to hear Laurie, those things. After that, outside the prison, he sees Laurie there. But going back to the scene, that's when the controversy begins. The issue of the scene begins. The scene makes it 80 or 90% clear that Laurie's body and her remains were devoured completely by a single zombie. And this is so strange for that time until now. Even though the scene makes it a little clearer, people ask themselves, like, is that right? Could it be that some other zombies didn't take it? Just a piece left there and everything? What is the real explanation for this scene? So let's go to the explanation and why. First, let's get to the confirmation, because yeah, it's here on the screen, the article from the time of Screen Rant, the website. We see that Greg Nicotero, the guy who directed there for the makeup, the scenography and other things, confirmed that Laurie was eaten by the swallowing walker there. And here we have more about what he said. The idea is that the zombie found her body there and dragged her body to the corner. In fact, there's a trail of blood that keeps passing through until you get there. We saw this trail of blood in the scene, and we have some more little details that were added, that there were bits of hair in his mouth, hair in his hand when Rick approaches. Like, if you go back to the scene, you can see that. So Greg Nicotero said, we wanted to show that this thing had feasted on her. As horrible as it is, there's a point that the article itself makes. The show intentionally avoided showing the pieces of Laurie's body, as the crew thought it would be crossing the line. That is, to explain in clearer, simple words, literally for you who have doubts, you who have a friend to this day who still has doubts about it, about this situation, it's official, it's confirmed that the zombie really ate everything of Laurie's body. I think it's the only case like this that a single zombie left nothing in the entire show, in the entire universe. But then we have to go to the point of reason, why they did it. Because the article itself there at the time brought a little of that too. Is it a different type of zombie? Is it a type of zombie that has the ability to eat more than it could? There is one point that explains this. The show intentionally avoided showing the remains of Laurie's body because it was going to be too heavy to watch. That is, the scene was supposed to make a little more sense. The zombie ate some parts and left the remains there. This in fact would make a little more sense, like how could a zombie eat an entire leg bone from an adult person? But yeah, they didn't want to make it so graphic by the limit. Something that has already hindered The Walking Dead several times. Agencies suing, extracting money from AMC because of this, because of violence, but that's the way it is. And to clarify a little more about this, we also had an interview at the time in the article of the actor himself who played the zombie. Yeah, the bloated walker that ate Laurie was played by the actor Alex Wayne, who had a lot to say in an interview he gave on these zombies in my blog. Look what the guy who made the zombies said. I said to Andrew Lincoln, do what you think is right for the scene, emotionally and mentally. Later, during filming, he definitely did it, and he gave it his all. He let go. Then he tells in the interview some curiosities here, that during the takes, they had to yell at him, at the actor himself, to Andrew Lincoln, because he was very much into the character. He says that in the scene, there were many more physical things, acrobatic things, like action stuff there than we saw in what was at the end. So it's probably more scenes of Rick crying and suffering like this in the scene itself. And here comes the question, did the zombie eat the Laurie's entire body? So the answer is yes, but the series never showed it at other points, other seasons, because it didn't have much opportunity. If you look at all the seasons of The Walking Dead, the main show, there hasn't been any opportunity where you could show that a zombie devoured everything. At most, a person who falls in the middle of a herd and hears all disfigured here and there's nothing left of himself, only some parts and such. But you can say in the comments, oh, but in real life this would not be possible. The amount of flesh, the amount of bones and everything that a human being has is impossible for the other to devour. Yeah, that's one point, and it's that old question that I've been explaining in several videos. People are always trying in every minute detail of The Walking Dead to seek a reality so that The Walking Dead is 100% perfect. And I think there are people who have gone a little bit out of touch with reality. Like, it's no good, the series has gone wrong. And no, once again, in addition to the explanation, the point of infection comes in the story, the point of exaggeration here. In fact, for the story, I will admit it, because you can even say that the zombie can devour all the flesh and everything else of a person, but the bones part can't. The bone wouldn't fit in this belly of the zombie here. This is an exaggeration. It's something that goes beyond the point, but the explanation, the best explanation, is there. The issue that the production did not want to make the scene so graphic. And also, I know you can say, oh, we have other scenes that are more graphic than this in The Walking Dead. And I will answer, yeah, it already did. Glenn's death, Abraham's death, their brains bursting, perhaps the most visually graphic and heavy scene in The Walking Dead. But yeah, at the time, AMC took a lot of lawsuits. They received some calls from a lot of parents' associations, and I don't know what else, which, as I always say here, is an association of boring people who wants to disrupt the TV show. Probably at the time, these associations decided to choose a production which has several others heavier than The Walking Dead. They decided to choose The Walking Dead to heat from above, and that hindered the production. We have the example about Game of Thrones that is much more graphic, and you also have to think, at the time of Laurie's death, the show was still becoming a big hit. It had the first season that was successful, the second that had very low investment that was still successful, and the third that was gearing up very well. But it wasn't that show that was generating so much revenue yet. It was starting to do that. It was getting to the point. So they were afraid of making too many mistakes. Apart from the point that the third season of The Walking Dead is totally troubled in decisions. If you don't know, from the second season, a showrunner took over named Glenn Mazzara, who did the job very well in the second with little budget, but in the third it got to the point that at the time of filming he changed the script right away, crossed it out and said, no, this here, it doesn't film this way, I want it this way. The level of improvisation was like this, something that nowadays is not done too much in some TV shows. So it may be that even this here was a level of improvisation. At the time of the scene, the showrunner said, no, don't put too many pieces of Laurie's body, no, because I think it can be a problem later. The rating of the show may have to rise to 18 more. We don't want that. So he forced them to explain in the story that the zombie ate, he devoured everything of Laurie's body. That's the story. But I don't know, I feel, honestly speaking here, that it could work more for the meaning of the story. I think the perfect scene would be Carl and Maggie left Laurie's body there, and out of nowhere, Rick finds her zombified walking. I think it would make much more sense. And then the traumatic encounter, the level of trauma was similar, so in the story we don't need to say that the zombie found her and devoured her. But yeah, unlike the various explanations I bring here, which sometimes have a scientific, psychological explanation, this one is one of those ones that has most to do with production decisions. So go right in the comments what you think about this point. If you would like to be able to take advantage of this loophole and bring some other big zombie and swallow it at once, I don't know, it would be too much. Write in the comments, don't forget to check the like in this video, it helps me a lot with the promotion. Don't forget to subscribe here, let's go get 10,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching, I'll be back soon, and bye!